everyone! Welcome to my channel. This is video 4 of Advanced English Vocabulary Word Series. You have already learned a large number of advanced English words from my previous videos, so let's continue until we get to 400. Mastering advanced vocabulary leads to fluency, so keep learning new words. And don't cut corners. Imagine that you are on a sports team and your coach tells you to run around a soccer field. If you don't completely run around this area, then you're cutting corners. You're not doing the task in the proper way. You'd better not skip over the words in this lesson because I'm going to test what you learned by the end of the video. Also today we deal with an intriguing topic, so stay tuned. Let's get started with our list of words. The word number 1, alleged. A claim or statement that is alleged hasn't been proven true. The word is also used when someone's guilt is suspected but not confirmed. For example, the alleged offender was known to the victim. Who is this alleged expert? Please note that we also use the adverb allegedly. It is used when something is said to be true but has not been proved. Reportedly, supposedly. For instance, she was arrested for allegedly stealing a car. The company is being investigated for allegedly falsifying sales records. The word number 2, to capture. To capture means to captivate and hold the interest of. If something captures your imagination and attention, you feel very interested and excited by it. It also means to take someone as a prisoner or to take something into your possession, especially by force. Let me give you some examples. This phenomenon captured the attention of many scientists. The movie captured the imagination of teenagers. The city was captured by enemy forces. The word number 3, to lurk. To lurk means to wait or move in a secret way so that you cannot be seen, especially because you're about to attack someone or do something wrong. If something such as a danger, doubt, or fear lurks somewhere, it exists but is not obvious or easily recognized. For instance, when he was 5, Jim was convinced there was a monster lurking under his bed. A shadowy figure was lurking at the forest edge. Around every corner lurked doubt, fear, and uncertainty. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 4, to lure. To lure means to tempt or attract by the promise of some type of reward. For example, customers were lured to the store by ads promising big discounts. The thief tried to lure the tourist into an alley to rob him. The word number 5, sacred. Sacred means devoted to a religious ceremony or simply worthy of awe and respect, holy and deserving respect. Let me give you some examples. For instance, Temples, mosques, churches, and synagogues are all sacred buildings. This area is sacred to the Apaches. Art is sacred to her. Let's go on to the next word. The word number 6, deficient. Deficient means lacking in some necessary quality, element, or characteristic, defective, not good enough for a particular purpose, not enough, or not adequate. For example, a diet that is deficient in protein is harmful to children. His theory is deficient in several respects. Please note that we also use the noun deficiency. Deficiency is the lack of something that is needed in order to meet a particular standard or level of quality. For example, many women suffer from iron deficiency. They need to identify any deficiencies in the education system and address them immediately. The word number 7, to conceal. To conceal means to prevent something from being seen or known about, to keep secret, to hide. For instance, it was said that the police concealed vital evidence. He concealed his identity by using a false name. I tried to conceal my surprise when she told me her age. The word number 8, to snap. To snap means to suddenly lose control and become extremely angry or upset because a situation has become too annoying or difficult, to give way suddenly under emotional stress or strain. For example, when she asked me to postpone my trip to help her move to her new house, I just snapped. He snapped under the pressure of the job. He finally snapped when she prevented their children from visiting him one weekend. The word number 9, fragile. Something that is fragile is lacking physical, mental, or emotional strength, delicate, easily broken, damaged, or destroyed. For example, his health has always been fragile. Glass and china are fragile items. The fragile government was on the brink of collapse. Let's continue with our list of words. The word number 10, to restrain. To restrain means to control the actions or behavior of someone by force, especially in order to stop them from doing something, or to limit the growth or force of something, to control a strong urge or emotion. For instance, when he started fighting, it took 5 police officers to restrain him. He was unable to restrain his anger. She could hardly restrain her laughter. Politicians are reluctant to restrain spending. Please note that we also use the noun restraint. Restraint is calm and controlled behavior, but it can also be rules or conditions that limit or restrict someone or something. For example, he showed admirable restraint and refused to be provoked. With open frontiers, criminals could cross into the country without restraint. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 11, apprehensive. Someone who is apprehensive is anxious or fearful about the future. This person is worried or nervous about something that they're going to do. Or perhaps they're worried or frightened that something bad or unpleasant may happen. For instance, people are still terribly apprehensive about the future. We have been a little apprehensive about their visit. She was apprehensive that something would go wrong. Please note that we also use the noun apprehension. Apprehension is anxiety or fear that something bad or unpleasant will happen. For example, the thought of moving to a new city fills me with apprehension. It's normal to feel a little apprehension before starting a new job. Let's go on to the next word. The word number 12, to subjugate. To subjugate means to bring under complete control or subjection, to conquer, to make submissive. The word with a similar meaning is to subdue. To subdue means to reduce the force of something, to conquer and bring into subjection. For example, people in the region are fiercely independent and resist all attempts to subjugate them. The women are subjugated and segregated in some parts of the world. Their institutions have no power of government and are subjugated to the will of a dictator. Government officials admit they have not been able to subdue the rebels. He forced himself to subdue and overcome his fears. Please note that we also use the phrase be subjugated to something, which means considered less important than. For example, her personal ambitions have been subjugated to the needs of her family, which simply means that her personal ambitions were considered less important than the needs of her family. The word number 13 is plethora. Plethora is a very large number of something, usually more than you need. It is a large or excessive amount of something. For instance, there's a plethora of diet books on the market. Travelers can choose from a plethora of different lodging options on a mountain vacation. The word number 14, adverse. Adverse means bad or unfavorable, negative and unpleasant, not likely to produce a good result. Steer clear of anything adverse. If it's adverse, it's working against you, like adverse weather conditions or the adverse effects of eating too much sugar. Let me give you several examples. The match has been cancelled because of adverse weather conditions. They received a lot of adverse publicity about the changes. The drug is thought not to have any adverse effects. Please note that we also use the noun adversity. Adversity is a very difficult or unfavorable situation when circumstances or situations work against you. In a situation like this, you face adversity. For example, Friends will show their true colors in times of adversity. He symbolizes great tolerance and dogged persistence in the face of adversity. Refugees from war-torn countries encounter terrible adversity. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 15 is prey on or prey upon something. If an animal or bird preys on another animal or bird, it hunts and eats it. But please note that we also use it with a different meaning. We can also say prey on or prey upon someone, which means to exploit, victimize, or take advantage of someone who is weak and cannot defend themselves. Let me give you some examples. Cats prey on birds and mice. The gang has been preying on foreign tourists. These telemarketers prey on the elderly and call them several times a day. Let's continue with our lesson. The next word on our list is the word futile. Futile is something that is achieving no result, something that is not effective or successful, something that is useless, and something that we do in vain. For example, attempts to swim across the stormy channel were futile. It's futile trying to persuade him to change his mind. All my attempts to cheer her up proved futile. The word number 17, exasperating. Exasperating is something that is extremely annoying, especially because you can do nothing to solve a problem. For example, it's so exasperating when he won't listen to a word that I say. He's the most difficult and exasperating man I know. The lack of progress was rather exasperating for all of us. The word number 18, to appeal. To appeal means to be interesting or attractive to someone. It can also mean to make a serious, urgent, or heartfelt request for help, especially in an emergency. And another possible meaning is to make a formal request to a court or someone in authority asking for a decision to be changed. Let me give you several examples. I don't think this will appeal to the public. The program appeals to young children. Police are appealing for information about the incident. She's not happy with the decision and plans to appeal. Please note that we use the same word as a noun as well. It means an urgent request for something important or a quality that makes people like something or someone. For example, the girl's family have made a public appeal for help to try to catch her attacker. The movie has great appeal for young audiences. The next word on our list is the word excruciating. Something that is excruciating is extremely painful, either physically or emotionally, causing intense suffering, causing great pain or anguish. For example, the pain in his back was excruciating. The process is painful but not excruciating. The word number 20 is the word predator. The word predator has two meanings. A predator is an animal that hunts, kills, and eats other animals. But it can also be someone who follows people in order to harm them or commit a crime against them. This is a person who looks for other people in order to use, control, or harm them in some way. For example, lions, wolves, and tigers are predators. They found out their neighbor was a sexual predator who targets children. Let's continue with our list of words, and the next word on the list is the word prowl, or to be on the prowl, which means to move around quietly in a place, trying not to be seen or heard, such as an animal does when hunting. If an animal is on the prowl, it is hunting. If someone is on the prowl, they're moving around different places, looking for an opportunity to do something. For example, the cat is on the prowl for mice. He likes to prowl the streets late at night. There is a serial killer on the prowl. She's always on the prowl for bargains. The word number 22, nausea. Nausea is the feeling that you're going to vomit. For example, signs of the illness include fever, nausea, and vomiting. Please note that we also use the adjective nauseous. Nauseous means feeling as if you might vomit. For example, roller coasters make me feel nauseous. The thought of poverty, oppression, and discrimination makes me nauseous. Let's continue with our lesson. And the next word on the list is the word to devastate. To devastate means to cause great damage or suffering to something or someone. For example, the town was devastated by a hurricane. The city was devastated by a huge earthquake. Please note that we also use the noun devastation. Devastation is severe and widespread destruction or damage. Damage affecting a large area or many people, severe and overwhelming shock or grief. For instance, the war brought massive devastation and loss of life to the region. They are escaping persecution, death, or devastation in their home country. The floods caused widespread devastation. Take heed. We also use the adjective devastating, which means causing great damage or suffering to something or someone. For instance, oil spills are having a devastating effect on coral reefs in the ocean. It will have a devastating impact on the economy. Gambling can have a devastating effect on families. The word number 24, disheartening. Something that is disheartening is causing you to lose confidence, hope, or enthusiasm. It is discouraging. If something is disheartening, it makes you feel disappointed and less confident or less hopeful. For example, it's disheartening when your basketball team loses 4 games in a row. The disheartening fact is that people don't care about this issue very much. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 25 is the word arduous. Arduous means difficult and tiring, and it also involves a lot of effort. For example, the task was more arduous than he had calculated. The journey to a more balanced world economy will be long and arduous. The word number 26, bewildered. If you are bewildered, you are very confused and cannot understand something or decide what you should do. The word with a similar meaning is the word baffled. Baffled means extremely confused or puzzled. Let me give you some examples. Many of the refugees looked bewildered and frightened. Some shoppers looked bewildered by the variety of goods on offer. She was completely baffled by his strange behavior. Please note that we also use the word bewildering, which means confusing and difficult to understand. For example, she gave me directions to her house, but I found them utterly bewildering. And we also use the noun bewilderment. Bewilderment is a state of being confused and puzzled, confusion resulting from failure to understand. For example, her mother's initial shock and bewilderment turned to outrage as details of the crash emerged. Parents still grieve and ask in bewilderment why matters have come to such a sorry pass. The word number 27 is the word dubious. Dubious means not completely true or not able to be trusted. If you describe something as dubious, you mean that you do not consider it to be completely honest, safe, or reliable. Suspicious. For example, he has been associated with some dubious characters. He has a dubious reputation in the business. These claims are dubious and not scientifically proven. She was dubious about the plan at first, but he soon convinced her. The next word on our list, the word number 28, is the word to acknowledge. To acknowledge means to accept, admit, or recognize something, or the truth or existence of something. For example, the plight of the refugees was acknowledged by the authorities. The government won't even acknowledge the existence of the problem. She's usually acknowledged to be one of the best artists. The word number 29, repercussion. This word is usually used in plural as repercussions. A repercussion is an indirect and usually bad result of an action or event that may happen sometime afterwards. Let me give you some examples. The collapse of the company will have repercussions for the whole industry. The repercussions of the war are still felt. His decision not to go to college will have repercussions he'll feel for years to come. The word number 30 is the word vigilant. To be vigilant is to be watchful or alert for danger or some other kind of trouble. The expression with a similar meaning is to be on the alert. To be on the alert means to pay attention to what is happening around you and to be ready to react quickly if necessary. For example, security personnel need to be more vigilant in checking bags. They warn the public to be vigilant and report anything suspicious. Police warned residents to be on the alert for bogus salesmen. Please note that we also use the noun vigilance. Vigilance is great care that is taken to notice any signs of danger or trouble, watchfulness. For example, the guards have been ordered to increase their vigilance. Democracy is fragile and will not survive without constant vigilance. The word number 31, to alleviate. To alleviate means to make suffering, deficiency, or a problem less severe and more bearable. If you alleviate pain, suffering, or an unpleasant condition, you make it less intense or severe. The word with a similar meaning is the word to facilitate. To facilitate means to make an action or process easier, to help something run more smoothly and effectively. Let me give you some examples. The UN's most important objective is to alleviate world poverty. Alcohol is often a cheap tool to alleviate the stress of a hard day. The drugs will alleviate the pain. Cutting taxes may facilitate economic recovery. Her rise to power was facilitated by her influential friends. The word number 32, jeopardy. And we also say in jeopardy, which means in danger of being harmed or destroyed. Let me give you some examples. Bad investments have put the company's future in jeopardy. For a moment, his life was in jeopardy. The spy was in constant jeopardy of being discovered. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 33 is to launch. To launch means to start or set in motion an activity or enterprise, to begin, or to introduce a new plan or product. For example, the airline will launch its new transatlantic service next month. The company hopes to launch the new drug by next December. The organization has launched a campaign to raise $100,000. The press launched a vicious attack on the president. Millions of people might face starvation unless an emergency aid program is launched. The word number 34, to endow or to be endowed with, means to have a particular desirable ability, characteristic, or possession, especially when you have it by chance or by birth. It means to equip or supply with a talent or quality. For example, he's endowed with wealth, good health, and a lively intellect. She's endowed with a good sense of humor. Nature endowed her with a beautiful singing voice. The word number 35, vigorous. Vigorous means characterized by or done with force and energy, strong, healthy, and full of energy. An active, physically energetic person is vigorous, and mental activities can be vigorous too when they require a lot of mental effort. For example, there has been vigorous opposition to the proposals for a new road. Avoid vigorous exercise for a few weeks. He's a tall, vigorous, and muscular man. Please note that we also use the adverb vigorously, which means in a vigorous manner with force and energy. For instance, he vigorously denied the accusations. The police vigorously denied that excessive force had been used. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 36, to eradicate. To eradicate means to get rid of something completely or destroy something bad, to root out. For example, the government claims to be doing all it can to eradicate corruption. Smallpox was globally eradicated in 1980. Their goal is to eradicate poverty in their community. The word number 37, to strive. To strive means to try hard to do something or make something happen, especially for a long time or against difficulties. If you strive to do something or strive for something, you make a great effort to do it or get it. Let me give you some examples. For example, Mrs. Johnson has kindled expectations that she must now strive to live up to. Some people are perfectionists, constantly striving for excellence. They strive to be accurate, but some mistakes are inevitable. The region must now strive for economic development, as well as peace. The word number 38 on our list is the word impact. Impact is the force or action on one object hitting another, an effect or influence. For example, the impact of the colliding cars broke the windshield. Our regional measures have had a significant impact on unemployment. A good teacher might have an impact on a struggling student. Industry has a huge impact on the environment we live in. Please note that we use the same word as a verb as well. Only the pronunciation is different. We say to impact. To impact means to have an influence on something or someone. For example, here are a couple of significant factors impacting our economy today. The move is not expected to impact the company's employees. The word number 39, to exploit. To exploit means to use something in a way that helps you to utilize, especially for profit. But it can also mean to treat someone unfairly by making them work and not giving them much in return. If you say that someone is exploiting you, you think that they're treating you unfairly by using your work or ideas and giving you very little in return. For example, the workers are ruthlessly exploited by their employers. She realized that her youth and inexperience were being exploited. The company has been successful in exploiting new technology to the full. Please note that we also use the noun exploitation, which means the action of making use of and benefiting from resources. It can also mean the act of using someone unfairly for your own advantage. For example, she favors legislation to curb the exploitation of child labor. Starvation and poverty are the result of global economic exploitation, not lack of resources. Currently, we put a lot of emphasis on the exploitation of natural resources. And the word number 40. Number 40 is the expression to be on the lookout for, which means to be watching carefully in order to find or obtain someone or something, looking or searching for something or someone. For instance, police in Bradford are on the lookout for a gang of car thieves. She's always on the lookout for sales. And we're done with a list of new words for this lesson. Now, let me clarify something. This channel is not about making students memorize long lists of random words. Quite the contrary, it is about building your vocabulary more effectively. I am here to help you adopt new words naturally by providing you with engaging texts. The words that I present to you in my videos are not selected randomly. Actually, each new video deals with a specific topic. Today, our topic is child exploitation and abuse. Has the world become a more dangerous place for children? What do you think about this controversial topic? It's your turn now. Take a pen and paper, pause the video, read the following text carefully, and fill in the gaps with the most appropriate words from today's lesson. Please note that I also give you some hints in the brackets to help you complete this exercise successfully. So, let's get started. The time is up. Have you filled in all the gaps? Let's check out the answers. Here are the correct answers. Number 1, exploitation. Number 2, excruciating. Number 3, allegedly. Number 4, lurks. Number 5, predators. Number 6, plethora. Number 7, conceal. Number 8, prey on. Number 9, fragile. Number 10, lure. 11, to appeal. 12, capture. 13, on the prowl. 14, disheartening. 15, in jeopardy. 16, sacred. 17, exasperating. 18, nauseous. 19, snap. 20, deficient. 21, to restrain. 22, subjugate. 23, arduous. 24, acknowledge. 25, to eradicate. 26, alleviate. 27, on the lookout for. 28, dubious. 29, vigorous. 30, apprehensive. 31, vigilant. 32, launch. 33, adverse. 34, devastation. 35, endowed. 36, futile. 37, strive. 38, to impact. 39, repercussions. And 40, bewilderment. And tell me now, how many correct answers do you have? Let me know in the comment section. And if this lesson was useful to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. That's all for today. Thank you for watching my video and see you soon. Take care.